All right. Hey guys, welcome to another groundbreaking episode of EdUp Career School's The Scoop with your host, Kathy Belletti. So today is going to be a lot of fun because I got a boss with me. When I say boss, you got to use the accent, boss, because we got a real one. So let's welcome Miss Danielle Shelton. How you doing, Danielle? All right. So Danielle, first off, I have to tell you, you are definitely a motivation to me. And I would say hundreds and hundreds of other people. There's times where during the day, I feel like I'm about to throw in the towel and I'm going off. And I'm like, you know what? Let me log on and see what Danielle's doing. Then all of a sudden I get knocked right back into place. All right. So seriously. And so first off, your mom, your wife, you have 3 beautiful daughters. You got one over here dropping books at the age of 6. You're a destination coach, podcast host, tips and tricks. You guys got to check that out. CEO, and above all of that, you're an English instructor.
Yes.
So for me, a lot of times I'm wondering, all right, Kat, how do you hold it together? But the real question is, how the heck do you hold it together, Danielle? So please school us. First off, how did you get into higher education?
I can always say that I have always been there. I have an education family. My aunt is an educator and she was very active in my life. And I just have always liked learning, and I like the feeling of teaching people things that they didn't know. So that was always kind of like, okay, I like this. And I can remember my cousins, I was kind of like older than her, probably by about 7 years.
Uh-huh.
So she would come to my house and I would like start teaching her to read and teaching her to write.
Oh, wow.
I just liked what it felt like to just get that. Like every student has like an aha, like, oh, I didn't get it until you explained it that way. So that feeling is like what I longed for. And I started to see as I got into more education, the more I got connected to that feeling. Uh-huh. And then once I started teaching in middle school, it was really like, okay, this is my groove. I could do this one. This is my groove. So I got into education really because I make really good connections with my students because I want to know them beyond who they are in my classroom. And education allows me to do that for so many kids.
Wow. What made you choose English of all the different subjects that you could have chosen? Why English?
Because I'm a nerd and I like to read.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. All right, so I'm going to sidetrack for a second. All right, you have this rigorous workout routine that you do almost every single day. And I know Tony Robbins said, when it comes to your mental being, it starts with your physical. All right. So, okay, being a female, we've been trying to make it happen forever. And for some reason, still can't get that going. But you have definitely killed it in the game. So what got you to the point where you said, you know what, I need to make a lifestyle change? How did you start this workout routine in the first place?
Well, I've always been active. Mm-hmm. But then, when you become a wife and when you become a mom, who you are, like as a person, you stop taking care of yourself. Yeah. You stop just caring about you because you're caring about all these other people and what does everybody need from me? And you become kind of the person that, the baby needs me now, or the preteen needs me, or the teen needs me, or my husband needs me. And you just become all these different people for everyone else and you forget about yourself. So I really had a period of time where I literally forgot about me. And I was only concerned with how everybody else was doing. And, fast forward to me having anxiety attacks, like legit anxiety attacks, having to pull over on the side of the road because I was like riddled with so fast forward to anxiety attacks, fast forward to battling depression and real like awful debilitating moments. Fast forward to me just being like, dang, I can't get it all done. And I have a perfectionist side of me that I want to get it all done. I got to get it all done. And I felt like I was failing, felt like I was failing as a mom, felt like I was failing as a wife, felt like I was failing as a teacher. I just wasn't, well, no, the teacher side was always the side of me that made me be like, okay, I can do this. And I would get anxiety on the ride from school to home. So home was my trigger. So what ended up happening is I started having really bad back pain, and I've always had it, but it like kicked it up a notch. And the back pain was so crazy that sometimes I couldn't get out of the bed. Like it was awful back pain. So I went to a neurologist, and the neurologist was like, long story short with the diagnosis, she was like, you have problems with your sciatic nerve, you have nerve damage, you have, bone damage, you have a problem with your spine, you have this, you have that, you'll need surgery. And I was just kind of like, so that was the wake up call for me, was like you'll need surgery. And she was like, there's a surgery we can do to relieve your nerve, where we go in the back of your spine, in the back of your head.
Messing with that spine.
And I was like,
oh man. And
at this point, I was at least 30 to 35 pounds overweight, and I knew I was overweight. So when she said I needed surgery and there was like no way that I would ever be the same, I was like, hold up, I'll be back. I'll be back. Oh. And in that moment, I chose me. In that moment, I contacted a trainer, and I was like, listen, I need to get in. Here are all of the list of my problems. Yeah. And my trainer, Kamisha Wilson, she's like the best in the world. She's one of the best trainers that I've ever met, because she was like, I got you, sis. Like her whole vibe was like, don't worry about it, girl. I got you, sis. And I was like, you don't understand. I have so much pain. She was like, oh, that just means you're weak in that area. I got you, sis. I was like, I don't know if I really trust you.
You're taking this a little bit too lightly. Hold on for a second.
But she, I chose me, because it was a choice between going through back surgery and never being the same, and possibly being paralyzed, right, for the rest of my life, or just choosing different. Yeah. What else can you do? So then I was like, all right, then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get a trainer. And I saw her 3 days a week, and I broke up with her every time I saw her. I was like, girl, we're not even, I don't even know if I like you today. Like, don't be expecting no phone call when this is over.
I could imagine myself right there.
That's how it was for me. So, and then I went from that to, you see the results and you're like, okay, this is working, and you do get stronger. Now, here's a question I always get. Well, was it hard? Absolutely. Yes, it was hard. Yeah. Yes, it is hard. Current day. Yes, it is hard. But I have gotten so much stronger. My back pain has gone down from being like on 1,000 to being like maybe 10 on a day where I was just doing the most. Some of the nerve issues that I had, I still have a bit of it, but it's nowhere near where it was. And then just like making the conscious decision to choose me, that helped my choice. That helped my mental health. It helped me. It was like, oh, okay, you matter in this moment, and it helped me.
That's awesome. And you know what? Sometimes as women, first of all, sorry guys, but we hold down the household. Point blank, that's what it is. And especially when you have your career, you have the kids, you got the husband who sometimes, that's one of the kids too. So you start to feel like, okay, wait a minute. Am I neglecting my kids because I'm working so much? And then you have to try to find that balance. So now you end up spending 95% just focused on everybody else and making sure everybody else is cool. And that 5% is left just taking care of you. And then you look in the mirror every single day and you're just not satisfied. So at some point you have to say, you know what, I've been talking to my husband recently and I'm like, we're in our 40s. You gotta stop eating all that sugar. We have a kid now.
Yes.
And it all starts with your mindset. And you were definitely such an inspiration. How do you actually manage that throughout the week though? How many days do you actually work out?
I work out 3 to 4 days a week.
Okay.
Well, I'm in the gym.
Okay.
That's my work now. I'm in the gym 3 to 4 days a week,
Okay.
but I also walk when I'm not in the gym. So I have like my gym days and then just my cardio days.
Yeah.
So like today wasn't a gym day. Today was like a cardio day. So my gym days are Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Sometimes I'll jump in on a Saturday boot camp. And my cardio days are Tuesday, Thursday, sometimes Sunday. But that's when I just, throw a quick walk in there, because you still need to clear your head. But one of the things that helps me balance is I really started taking advantage of the hours in the day. There's like a motivational thing that's on YouTube that's like, everybody has the same 24 hours.
I saw that.
You know what I mean? And he's like, what are you doing with your hours? What are you doing? And I was just like, dang, what am I doing with my hours? So then it started making me be like, okay. So I'm up at 4. Wow. And my husband has started coming with me. So we're up at 4 and we're to the gym by 5. And then once we're to the gym by 5, we're home by 6. I'm in the car and on the way to the university to teach. And I get there, I do my little classes, I come back. Now there are days where I do a Monday, Wednesday, Friday gym workout, and then I come home, and because the children are at school, I get like another mile or 2, like a walk in. So I have some days where, I'm doing a lot. But one of the things that I could tell people that I do for real is I prep a lot. Like I prep the day before, and sometimes I prep the week before. I have myself on a very regimented schedule. And I don't let things linger. Everybody in my house knows that, like, that's my pet peeve. Like, if you have stuff to do the stuff you have to do. Don't like let it sit. That's my own.
I get it. Trust me.
That sets me off. Like, if you know you need to do it, do whatever it is you feel you need to do. And if at the end of the day there's time to rest, then rest, but accomplish what you need to accomplish. And one of the things that I could say my husband has helped me with is taking it down a notch to be able to just do nothing. So that's the part that I'm working on. I'm working on the taking it down to just relax, which doesn't actually like, my body might be in a relaxed position, but my mind is like,
your mind is going. That is so true, because you know what's funny? The last time we spoke, we were talking about COVID. And remember, I told you that I had COVID back in December.
Yes.
In the hospital on oxygen. When I came home, it was so upsetting to me because I'm accustomed to going a mile a minute, right? But now it got to the point where my mind was recovered, but my body was like, hold on for a second. I got to catch up to you. We're not there yet. And sometimes when there's so many moving pieces during the day, it's like, all right, I got to get this done. And I go by a checklist. And sometimes I'm not resting. 8, 9 o'clock, I'm still working because my mind is constantly going. So you know what, that brings me to my next point, because, for everyone, especially those that work in higher education, whether you're working with the younger generation or the older generation, you always have to have that student first mindset, right? You're always focused on your students and their success. Yes. But with so many moving pieces during the day, it's easy to get sidetracked, to get demotivated. Yeah. And for a lot of people, unfortunately, some people just throw in the towel and they're like, you know what, screw higher education. I'm out of here. I'm going on to something that's much more easier and sane, right? Yeah. So how do you continue to stay motivated, especially working in higher education with everything that's going on and in everything that you have going on in your life?
That's what fills my cup. And I think that kind of has always been that way. Okay. Is when I go in that classroom, the synergy that comes from my students, and I work with traditional and non-traditional. I gotta say though, I like my non-traditional students. But my traditional higher ed students, there's just like a energy, a synergy that's in the room where I'm vibing, they're vibing. I could tell them, and I love the moment where I get them interested in a piece of literature and something that they hated to read, and then they read it, and we get like conversation popping. Like, that's what fills my cup. So that part of me is like, we need that to keep going, because it, like, when everything else is crazy, that's the one thing that like I can come back to. And the one thing I know how to do is inspire my students and teach them a lesson. If I can't do anything else, if I fail at everything else, the one thing I can do is teach. So I keep my mental, and I'm not like ready to leave higher education, because it literally fills my cup to be able to say, I have come across 500 students between the fall semester and the spring semester, and the amount of students who reached back out and say, hey, you know, you really helped me. Hey, you know, and it's not just about the lessons, it's also about getting involved in their lives. So I think just that connectivity with people keeps me going. So for me, I stay in it because that's where my cup is filled.
That is amazing. You're so awesome. All right, so I know that you are definitely an advocate for higher education, whether it's traditional or non-traditional. And I know that you understand not everyone is suited for a four-year university. So right. Where do you see the future of career education?
I really think a lot of schools are going to start to take a note from the pages of these different colleges and universities that are doing certificate programs, because the truth really is, do you need to be in school and accrue debt for 4 years, 6 years, for some programs, 2 years? No, like why when I can study this and do this and be certified in 9 months, why am I sitting here accruing debt for 6 years, you know? So I think the direction of higher ed now is starting to focus more on the individual and not so much on the company, the university. So that to me is where higher ed is going. I think the pandemic, though, as awful as it was, it made education look at itself and be like, wait a minute. And then it made students be like, you mean to tell me I can get the same education and I don't have to pay $50,000? Wait a minute. So everybody had to kind of shift gears. Yeah. So I think the future of education really, a lot of it is virtual, because, you know, now we have the metaverse. And I will not be surprised if I see some schools and universities start to show up in the metaverse, where you can attend virtually. Now, if y'all take my idea, I just want a call, okay?
You heard her. So Danielle, do you have any last thoughts for our listeners?
My last thought really would be to take advantage of every day to make it what you want it to be. I always believe that like happiness is a choice, and it's a choice is something you got to choose every day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, regardless of what's happening. You have to make a conscious choice to be like, in this moment, I'm going to deal with this, I'm going to push forward, but then I'm going to be happy. Like, it has to be a conscious choice. And I think we all have to be aware of our own accountabilities. So my final words to people is always, look at what you're doing, look at where you are, and be grateful for it all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I always tell people, just make sure that you change your relationship with time. That's all. All right.
Yes.
So there you have it, Miss Danielle Shelton, dropping some amazing gems and knowledge. Thank you so much for joining us today, Danielle. I cannot wait for part 2.
Thank you, Kathy. I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me on. I really do. I can't wait. I'm ready. I'm ready to make this ongoing.
You know, hint, hint. All right, Danielle, enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, see you later.
All righty, bye. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you would like to set up a free demo for your enrollment team, don't forget to head on over to lessons.motivatewithkat.com. This training is 1 year unlimited access for your enrollment advisors, and it's filled with tons of interactive videos, presentations. I'm giving it all away. They're getting all of my downloadable tools that will bring them immediate results. So if you are looking to take your team to the next level, don't forget, once again, that website is lessons.motivatewithkat.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, later.